What's up, guys? This is Biz from BSnooch.com. We're back again with another SMOD Mapadd 101 video, and we're actually going to take a break today from doing instant triggers, and we're going to touch on a new entity that's exclusive to the SMOD Mapadds. That's the event entity, and we're also going to start digging into really the meat and potatoes of Half-Life 2's entity system, which is inputs and outputs. Today we're going to focus on sending inputs. So let's get started, because this is probably going to run a little long. We're back on D1 Canals 06, and if you remember in the last video we made our first instant trigger up here at the top of the ladder that when you hit it spawns some zombies. So I thought it would be a fun change if instead of zombies we spawned some explosive barrels down here and then lit them on fire through the Mapadd and try to blow up the player, because that's what I like to do. So let's clear our canvas here. Oh, and take a look at our Mapadd file. So find the entity section right there, and we had our instant trigger right here, which spawned the label group zombie spawn OMG, and of course that's what contains all three of our zombies. So let's go ahead and change that. We're gonna make a new one called barrel_trap. So now when you hit this trigger, it's gonna spawn a labeled group called barrel trap. So let's make sure we're out of the entity section, and we will go ahead and make a new one. A new labeled group called barrel trap. Very good. And of course you got to put all your data between these two braces. So boom, now we've got a new labeled entity group. Now you don't have to delete the old one, the zombie spawn one. The game will literally look at that and it will just exist. As long as it's never called, it will never happen. So you don't have to delete your old group. You could always come back to it. Feel free to just keep adding. I haven't found a limit yet. Okay, let's go back to the game. So we need to get some explosive barrels, and unfortunately for us I don't think there are any in this map, so I'm going to show you a neat trick. Get out your old stuff launcher here, do the alt fire on that, and of course come into the console here, and we're actually going to take the model. See if I can grab it. There we go. Let's get the model name, and there's actually a console command called fizz launch model. I use this a ton, and what this does is it lets you specify the model to use for the fizz launcher. And lucky for us, the explosive version of these barrels is the same model as the regular one. You just got to add _explosive. So do that, hit enter, and now check it out. Boom. Now when working with high explosives, try not to shoot them too close to each other, because you'll wind up making a chain reaction. There's really no rhyme or reason as to when the barrels blow up. I like to shoot two at a time. That seems to work pretty well. Just a little tip. Alright, grab a couple barrels. Let's bring them over here. Very good. Let's just do 4 of them. That should be plenty. for God's sakes. Okay, there we go. 4 barrels. Let's just double check and make sure that you can't see them from where the player triggers them. Got to keep that movie magic alive. Get out your stuff launcher and let me clear the console. Let's just go boom, 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 boom. Okay. Let's come back to our Mapadd file here, and we'll just copy that text from the console, and we'll just paste it right in here. Let me format that real nice for you guys. Oops. And you don't have to do this. I mean, I just do it so it'll be easier for you to see in the video. You can literally just leave it all unorganized. Don't do that though. Okay. Now we got 4 barrels. Let's restart the map. Make sure you save your Mapadd file. And let's see how it works. So we come up the ladder. And now we, no more zombies, right? We're calling a new group. Bam. Barrels. Alright, so now we got these things. How do we light them on fire? Now normally you just, well, now it's gotten way far away. Now you just shoot them, right? That's normally how you light them on fire. How do we do it through Mapadd? So, we need to use a little something, a console command. Let's start here, called entFire. It's ENT_FIRE. And actually very cool. If you just type that in and hit enter, it gives you a cool little breakdown of how it works. So let me blow that up for you guys. So this is a console command. It sends an input to an entity, and the way it works is you type entFire, and then you got to specify a target. Very important. So which entity should you send this input to? Then you got to specify an action. This is actually the input you want. Some inputs require a value. You can pass that along. Some of them are like a Boolean, so you either send a 1 for yes or 0 for no. And then you can also do a delay, as in how many seconds before the action takes place. So with that in mind, let's open up the Valve Developer Wiki. I've got prop physics page open, and just scroll down past key values, past flags, right here to inputs. And what these do is these are actions you can send to an entity and they tell it to do something. For example, the one we're going to be using, ignite, makes the entity burst into flames. You can do stuff like disable motion, tell the object to stop moving completely, etc., etc. Every entity has a list of inputs that can be sent to it. Some are universal. Some entities have their own special ones. So again, use the Valve Developer Wiki to check. But now that we know what input we want to use, the ignite one, all we need to know is which entity to send it to. So there's a console command called ENT, entity name. Whoops. All you gotta do is aim at an object and type that in and check it out. It tells you the name of the object. So actually all these barrels are called prop physics right now. So let's just get this little test. So entFire, and I forgot to blow it up. Doesn't matter. Again, remember we need to specify a target. So let's do prop physics And then we need an action. That's going to be ignite. And we don't need value. We don't want any delay. Let's just light them up immediately. Hit enter. And check it out. Perfect. The only problem with that is any physics object that's not been named, you'll also light those on fire. So we need to narrow our target, and the way we do that is we actually add a key value. So come in your Mapadd file, find your physics prop. Let's go under the key value section right here. Just make a new line. We're going to make a new key called target name, and a new value called, I don't know, bury the barrel. How about that? And what that does is it gives your explosive barrel a proper name instead of prop physics. So let's do that for all 4 barrels. Save it. Let's restart. We'll come down here. Let me blow this up for you guys. I'm sorry. I keep messing that up. We'll trigger our... There it is. Trigger our barrels. We're missing one, but that's fine. And check it out. Now when we do int name, all our barrels are named Barry. Perfect. Targeted action. So now if we do the old ant fire, instead of sending it to prop physics, let's send it to Barry. Check that out. Working perfectly. Okay, now how do we do that via Mapadd? Well, we've got a new entity we're going to look at today called event. This is exclusive to SMOD. It looks like that, and there are 4 key values for it. Target name, action, value, delay time. So what do you think? Does this look kind of familiar? Target, action, value, delay. Yeah, so basically the event is like a special SMOD thing that's basically an ant fire command. This can only be used in a labeled entity group. Don't try to do it in your regular entities initialize section. It probably won't work. And so let's take our ant fire command that we've been using and just translate it into this. So what's our target name? Barry. What kind of action do we want to send? Ignite. We don't need a value. Let's use a delay though. Let's say the player goes up the ladder. He probably triggers the trigger here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably pretty good. So let's do like a 4-second delay. Okay, we don't need that, and we don't need this anymore. Now we're going to run that ant fire command from the Mapadd script using the event. So save it. We'll flip back to the game, restart. Come on down. Haha, take a look at that. Ain't it beautiful? That could be a pretty nasty trap for the player. So yeah, guys, that's how that's the basics of inputs, and that's also covers the event entity. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. But that should kind of get you started. You can use events, are very useful. I use them all the time. It's as good as sending an fire console command. And when you get into the more advanced techniques, you're going to be using this a lot. And you're also going to be using the fire command a lot. So we kind of killed two birds with one stone. And that's kind of dipping your toes into the very beginnings of the Valve Source Engine entity inputs. And we'll get back to Instant Triggers Part 2 next video, and we'll start covering outputs. So yeah, see you then.